Our mission statement is to light the path of greater success. We don't do it for them. We're setting up an environment for them to use the resources we make available. We show them the way. We give them the resources. We light the path. They have to do the work to get where they want to go. So this is a group of peers that need to be holding one another accountable.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Duct Tape Marketing Podcast. This is John Jantz, and my guest today is Victoria Downing. She's the president of Remodelers Advantage. It's a leading peer group and business improvement resource for remodeling companies' owners. For more than 2 decades, Victoria has helped thousands of remodelers improve profitability, leadership, and work-life balance. Remodelers Advantage has really been known as probably the leading peer group network in the industry for training and for helping folks grow their businesses. I actually have a couple clients over the years that have been in this group, and it really led me to wanting to interview Victoria. So welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
So I guess let's just start with kind of somebody said, so Victoria, what is Remodeler's Advantage? Maybe just kind of set the baseline for what the group is.
Okay, the baseline. Let's talk about the vision first, right? Our vision is to be the company that all remodelers turn to for a better life. We are all about looking at your business as a tool to help you build the life you want for yourself and for your employees while delivering a fantastic product to the community. So that's our focus, and we deliver that in a lot of different ways.
You know, I think I led in the bio there talking about making companies more profitable, but you kind of led with work-life balance. Do you feel like those two are very intrinsically connected?
Absolutely. I mean, again, your business is a tool. So I always encourage our members, especially when they first come in, where are we trying to take you? What finances do you have to live your life now and into retirement and for your family and for college and all the stuff for your goals? How much money do you need to live that life? Well, then we back into that and say, okay, now how can we manipulate this business to get you the funds you need? And your employees, it's not about just the owner being greedy and taking every penny. It's building a wonderful culture and future and lifestyle for the employees as well.
So the primary tool, I guess, and correct me if I'm wrong on that, really is these peer groups. Talk a little bit about how that structure of bringing, non-competing, folks from all over the country together to really form a community.
Well, I actually realized I have to update my bio because I've actually been doing this since 1990. So for 35 years, I've been doing this.
Yeah.
And I had a business partner at the time, Linda Case. She was very big in the industry for years and years. And I joined her then. And we would speak at trade shows and talk to a lot of people, write magazine columns and books and so on. And people started coming up to us saying, we're looking for the next level. We've been coming to trade shows and listening to the speakers for 10, 15 years. We want more. What can we do? So we started a peer group. It was fantastic. And we slowly just added people and added groups over the years till now. We have over 200 companies across the U.S. and Canada that altogether produce over $1 billion in revenue annually. So they're representing a lot of renovations, a lot of remodeling.
So I'll give you a softball question here because I know the answer to this, but I want to hear you answer it. People that get coaching, that participate in peer groups, that participate in their community, participate in their industry, tend to be the cream of the crop of an industry. I just see that across the board. How have you seen that play out with the RA groups?
Well, it certainly is the case that we have a number of people. So let me back up a step. We have 2 different sort of levels of our roundtable peer groups. The peer groups makes up about a little bit more than half of our business in total, with the others being master classes and events and consulting and coaching. But in roundtables, there's the base membership, and then we have the mentor membership. The mentors tend to be larger, more profitable, and they tend to have been members of roundtables for many years. I can't tell you how many people in the mentor levels have been with us for 15, 20 years. And they just keep coming because they know that they're always going to learn something. Yes, is there some diminishing returns over from the first fire hose, those first 5 years to 20 years in? Certainly. But they know that they can still get the bits and pieces that'll make the difference between a good year and an exceptional year. So it really does play out that way.
And one of the things I've seen you do that I think, of course, I'm sure evolved or people asked you for it was that, these are owners initially in a lot of the peer groups, but then you've started to put together all of your marketing people are in a peer group, with them, or all of your finance people are in a peer group. And how I've got to believe that gets everybody talking the same language, pulling the same direction. Have you found that, if nothing else, is an amazing retention strategy as well?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the people that are in those, what we call tactical groups, there are people in positions in the companies. And most of those people are from member groups, but we do have some that are from outside the community. Yeah. Right now, we have 9 groups for production managers, 2 groups for design managers, a group for CFOs. And then we also have a variety of what we call power meetings, where we'll bring administrators and office managers together for 2 days of intensiveness. And that's another way they pick up the language. But we have found that the companies that are the most successful, and again, I got to go back to some of our longer term members, they invest in their team, right? Yeah. We can see it. The people who were buying master classes, investing in consulting and coaching and all this stuff had better returns than the rest. So what we did about 4 years ago, I guess it was right around COVID time, we changed our membership to include what we call professional service credits. So people get, $5,000 worth of credits that they can use for all sorts of other training. They can use it for production manager roundtable membership dues, so that we're encouraging them to follow the lead of the best and invest in their people with, dollars that they have in their pocket from us.
I've worked with a lot of remodeling contractors, and every business to some extent, it has a lot of this where people got into business because they knew how to do something. Yeah. I think remodeling contractors in some cases are the ultimate technicians. I mean, they were the ones building the walls and putting in windows and things, and then also had to try to build a business. Do you find that in many cases that kind of technician mentality holds them back a little bit? It's like, I know how to do all this stuff.
Well, it does in a couple of ways. One of the things I've found is that when people come to us at the beginning of their relationship with us, that one of the things that is almost 100% true is that their financial reporting is a mess. You can't tell what's going on. So if I'm telling them your business is a tool, well, I got to be able to read the story in that tool, right? I got to be able to tell what's going on. So we have to start by helping them organize and learn how to read and understand the information that's in those reports. So then we can say, I always tell people, the numbers tell the story. And if they are clear and accurate, the reports can almost tell you what your next move is going to be. But you got to have them in a format that we can read and that their peers can read and understand. So that's one way that being a technician holds them back, because they haven't had that business training. But another way happens a lot with the area of control. The companies that grow, and you know this as well as I do, is nothing new under the sun. But those companies that are able to delegate tend to be able to grow. If one of these owners has their fists around every decision that's made in the company, it makes it very difficult to grow beyond yourself.
Yeah, they become actually the bottleneck for growth, even though they claim that that's what they ultimately want. How have you seen also, I know one of the things that you do, I have a little advantage of hearing a little bit more about what you do from a very tactical standpoint. You make people bring their numbers, they, in front of their peers have to say, here's where we're winning, here's where we're losing. How does that kind of peer pressure, if for lack of a better term, actually help them grow?
Well, it's that there are 9 other company representatives of 9 other companies sitting there looking at them, and they're saying, well, here's where you're down, but look at this guy over here. He's really high in that. Let's get you 2 together. Or this guy was doing really well in that area, gives advice. So it not only helps them get ideas and strategies for improving the lower levels, but it also helps these owners figure out what to work on first. There's that whole saying about just picking the things that are the most important things to work on. And a lot of business owners get confused. They see the next shiny object. They take their eye off the ball. They're not watching their pipeline. They're not monitoring the financial statements to know what carpenters producing profitable jobs and which ones are losing jobs, all of that stuff. These groups help them pinpoint. Every
Yeah.
time a member leaves their peer group, they have 2 or 3 written commitments that they have to report back to their group, who hold them accountable for achieving those commitments. And then they've got the whole team of the peer group, as well as the support staff of us. If they're having challenges in meeting those commitments, we've got resources. One of the beauties, as you know, in being in the business for as long as we've been in the business, is you have a pretty good network of people and resources that you can share and you can help. So we've got a lot of that at hand.
Let's talk about technology a little bit. I mean, when I started my business, you've been in business as long as I have. We didn't have the web.
Yeah, I know. I can remember those days.
Well, yeah, exactly. And so obviously, not only that kind of technology has changed, but even how you run their businesses. I mean, everything from, quoting to tracking, some of the things that they do, inventorying. So, I mean, it's all kind of technology driven. How have you been able to kind of keep up with that, and not just keep up with it, but probably be seen as a leader in helping people adopt new technologies?
Well, one of the things that happens is we try to stay a little bit agnostic on what technology they want to use. Like, there are some outstanding project management softwares focused on the industry. There's 2 major ones in our space right now. I listen to our members. I'm constantly reading. We receive information from them all day, every day. I get emails from every group has their own email thread, and I get all those emails all the time. So I'm constantly reading about what's working, what's not working. Then I can reach out and ask questions and use that information to compile suggestions and share that information with the rest of the community. So I really I don't do estimates, right? But I pay attention to those who do and what's working and what new things they're finding.
Yeah.
Now, so that's a big one. The whole CRM sales management thing is a big one. Recently, we had a members only webinar where we featured 3 of our members and how they use AI in their business.
Yeah.
That was pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
And now AI has taken over how marketing works and how all those searches and all that work. So we're getting information on that and sharing it with our community as well. It's just everywhere. Amazing.
Yeah. It is evolving. Not obviously all my listeners are remodeling contractors or in the home services business, but so I really, again, it's this peer group idea that I think is really fascinating. I'm curious, how do you manage some of the dynamics? I mean, I'm sure you've had times where people just weren't getting along in the group, or somebody shouldn't be in that group, or, somebody's dominating that group, or again, I'm sure you've seen it all. How do you kind of manage some of the dynamics of making sure that you've got a really gelled group?
Well, for the last probably 6 years, my colleague Steve Wheeler has been managing the roundtable groups, and he is excellent at, first of all, placement.
Yeah.
When we're placing someone in a group, we have to start out by making sure there's nothing competitive in the match.
Right.
Then we try to match them up with similar volume levels and similar job sizes and similar business models. Like, are they using all subs, or do they have their own in-house labor? That sort of thing. And then we also look at a personality profile of each of the members that tells us how they like to give and receive information. We use DISC. All of our members take it. We use it internally. We use it for hiring. It's all over the place. So that helps us also determine where to place people. So are you familiar with DISC at all?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yes,
So, for example, it's D, I, S, and C. The S people are slower to make decisions. They're a little bit less outgoing. They like to do more one thing at a time. You get a whole group of S people, it's pretty flippin' quiet. So we got to throw a D in there to ramp it up, or throw an I in there to give it some jazz,
Yeah.
But we're constantly monitoring that. And our members, first of all, it's not a class. We're not pablum feeding them.
Yeah.
We're setting up an environment for them to use the resources we make available. Our mission statement is to light the path of greater success for motivated remodeling professionals. We don't do it for them. We show them the way. We give them the resources. We light the path. They have to do the work to get where they want to go. So we talk a lot about that. And that's part of the process. They're making a commitment. So anyway, so this is a group of peers that need to be holding one another accountable. And overall, for things like commitments, they do a pretty good job. They're like, hey, dude, you made the commitment. We didn't hear from you. You didn't ask for an extension. Why are you coming here without your commitment done? That works pretty well.
Yeah.
It's when they don't like someone or there's a personality conflict that then it gets a little bit dicey. It's awkward oftentimes to address that within the group. So they'll go to their facilitator or they'll come to the staff and we'll help fix it or move somebody to a group that's a better fit. So we do that because we have 25 owner groups, we can do that.
Yeah. Do you have, and you don't need to name names here at all, but do you have some examples of businesses that you've just really seen grow and flourish, directly by being a part of a peer group?
Absolutely. So as a matter of fact, I got an email this week and I printed it out so that I could read you some of the things that they said. Every year, or as somebody's been with us a year, I will reach out to them and ask them what are the changes, improvements that they have made since their time with roundtables. So I did that with this particular company, which is a Canadian company. We have a number of Canadians in our community. They sent me a list of 18 items that they have improved upon since they joined in 1 year. I always tell people, like in our mission statement, we talk about greater success. I'll tell people, we know you're going to be successful, but this will cut your time in half. Right. So just to give you a couple of things, revenue growth of 30% on our rolling 12-month report, gross profit growth of 36%, complete company overhaul. We rebuilt every department in the company. We implemented the work in progress process, and we meet monthly to review all key financials. We have 100% better understanding of the financials, WIP, budgeting, etc. We've created department scorecards to track and manage KPIs, and on and on. So then the owner goes on, and he says, the RA, Remodelers Advantage, has certainly opened my mind as to what's possible in this business. I feel we have a strong foundation to continue to build upon, and our potential is just starting to be realized. We have a long way to go, and RA is going to be an integral part in making that happen. That we get dozens of letters like that all the time.
Because you've been a pioneer in this particular business model, are you familiar, and it's okay if you're not, but are you familiar with other industries or other groups similar to RA that you've run across?
Funny you should ask. I belong to something called the Council of Masterminds, which is a peer group for companies that do peer groups.
Okay.
We think it's kind of meta,
Yeah.
So in that, we're all different industry verticals, and we just came back from our meeting. We have peer groups for dentists, optometrists, computer service companies, insurance brokerages, and on. And there's about 12 of us that come to this. And I've been going to that meeting twice a year for 20 years. So I am walking the talk, and I come back with pages of notes, just like I do even from our peer groups. It's a different industry, but business management is business management. So many ideas fit.
Yeah. I was thinking that I'm sure that a lot of your members kind of keep you, like what's going on in the industry, what's the future look like, what's the technology changes. I'm sure you hear a lot of that from your members, and that probably helps keep you abreast of things because you're hearing from kind of the cream of the crop.
Yes, that does too. But again, we also, follow all of the studies, like the leading indicator of remodeling activity in Harvard and all those things to try to stay on top. House just did a survey talking about what the future looks like for remodeling. We're having a session at the summit on looking forward and how to deal with the uncertainty now and what to expect as we go through the next several years. So we try to compile all that information for our members and make it readily available.
Yeah. Well, Victoria, I appreciate you spending a few moments to share with my audience. Is there someplace you'd invite somebody to, whether they're in the industry or not, to learn more about what you do and connect with you?
Well, I'd love them to visit our website, which is remodelersadvantage.com. I'd love for them to come to the summit, remodelersummit.com. And they can always write to me for more information. I'll steer them in the right direction. And my email is victoria@remodelersadvantage.com.
Awesome. Well, again, I appreciate you spending a few minutes with us, and hopefully we'll see you one of these days out there on the road.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.